Ever had that uncanny feeling? Like what's happening inside your head is somehow, I don't know, painting the world you're walking through. Have you ever stopped to wonder if your thoughts, actually have a real, tangible effect on what unfolds around you?
It's a fascinating question, isn't it?
It really is. Okay, let's really dig into this because for this deep dive, we're venturing into a pretty fascinating lecture by Neville Goddard. This was given way back, November 20th, 1959, and it's titled simply The Law.
The law. Very direct.
Yeah. So our mission today really is to try and grasp Goddard's powerful perspective on what he calls our awakened imagination
Right.
and explore how understanding this could maybe shift the way you experience life, move you from just reacting to stuff
To actually shaping it.
exactly,
Yeah.
actively shaping it.
And what's really compelling right from the start is Goddard's core idea. It's pretty profound. He says the whole vast world is no more than man's imagining pushed out.
Pushed out.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. But then he immediately adds this really crucial layer. He suggests that the world, outside of our human consciousness, it's kind of inert, almost like a blank canvas.
Okay.
Until we, as living, breathing people, bring it to life, like an unwritten book, maybe. The pages are there, but the story only happens when the author starts writing.
That makes sense.
And Goddard proposes that, well, a lot of us are living as if we're sound asleep. We're just unaware of this incredible creative power we have inside in our imagination.
Right. The power we don't realize we have.
Exactly. And it's a power he actually equates with the very essence of God. He references William Blake's line, the eternal body of man is all imagination. That is God himself.
Powerful stuff.
It really stands out, this idea that we're not just passive observers in some fixed reality.
Exactly. So, okay, if the world around us is a reflection of our inner imaginative activity, how does that actually work? Like in practice?
Yeah, how does it play out? This is where it gets really interesting. To bring this concept into sharper focus, Goddard shares this story. A case history, he calls it the Lady on Sunset.
Okay, I'm listening.
So picture this. A woman is driving down Sunset Boulevard, stops at a red light. Over to her right, she sees an elderly woman dressed all in gray trying to hurry across the street to catch a bus.
Uh-oh, I can see where this is going.
Yeah. Just as she's about to reach it, the bus just pulls away, leaves her stranded, looking pretty distressed.
Oh, yeah.
And the driver, she feels this genuine pang of sympathy,
Yeah.
But she's stuck in her lane. She can't physically do anything right then.
Right, she can't just swerve over.
Exactly. But this is the key bit. Instead of just feeling bad and then driving off when the light changes, she consciously uses her imagination. She creates this vivid mental scene. She sees herself opening her car door, warmly inviting the elderly lady in.
Ah, okay.
She even has a little imaginary chat with her. And in this imagined conversation, the lady explains she's trying to meet friends and they might leave if she's not on that bus.
Wow, quite detailed.
Very. And God points out this whole mental movie, this imaginative act, maybe took, 30 seconds?
Just 30 seconds.
Yeah, followed by maybe another minute where the woman just felt this sense of satisfaction, like it was done, resolved in her mind.
Yeah, okay. And
then the twist. 4 blocks later, she stopped at another light. Someone taps on her car window.
No way.
Yes, it's another elderly woman. And the description, striking, gray hair, dressed in gray.
Okay, that's uncanny.
This woman is out of breath, and she says something like, "Oh, I've just missed my bus. Could you possibly give me a lift? My friends are waiting, and if they don't see me get off the bus, they might just go on without me."
Almost the exact same scenario she imagined.
Pretty much. So
Okay.
the driver naturally gives her a ride. 6 blocks later, the lady sees her friends, gets out, very grateful.
So what's the big takeaway here, according to Goddard?
Well, Goddard sees this as a really powerful example of someone being awake to this fundamental principle, realizing that deep, immediate connection between her inner imaginative acts and how the world responded.
The world responding.
Yeah. He even talks about, joy in heaven over the awakening of a sinner.
Yeah.
But we need to be careful with that word.
Right. It's not the way we usually think of sinner.
No, not at all in a moral sense. He means someone who's been missing the mark. Someone unaware of this creative power they have.
Okay, missing the mark of their own potential.
Precisely. And he asks this really interesting question. Does it actually matter if it was the very same elderly lady from the first corner?
Good question. Does it?
His point is, maybe not. His contention is that everyone, everything around us, is constantly responding to our underlying imaginal activity, whether we're doing it consciously like the driver eventually did or unconsciously.
Yeah, that really makes you rethink things, what we call reality.
It does, and Goddard goes on to explain that this outside world, it only seems alive and only feels alive because of the activity of man, who is a living soul.
The activity of man.
He uses the simple act of naming things, animals, plants, as a basic example of how our consciousness actively shapes and defines our experience of the world.
Like we're projecting meaning onto it.
Exactly. It's almost like the universe gives us the raw material, but our imagination provides the blueprint, the animating force.
Okay.
And he brings in this really deep idea, this concept of a divine consciousness becoming human. And in that process, sort of forgetting its own infinite creative power.
Forgetting its divinity in a way.
In a way, yes. So the journey of life then becomes this process of reawakening to that truth, evolving from just being a living soul, aware, conscious, to becoming a life-giving spirit, meaning consciously wielding that power of imagination. He contrasts how other people might have reacted to that first bus incident, you know? Maybe some blame the bus driver. He should have waited. Others blame the old lady. She should have been quicker.
Right, just reacting based on appearance.
Exactly, reacting. But the driver, she didn't just react, she acted imaginatively. And that's the fundamental difference he's highlighting. Reacting versus creating.
So the world is kind of dead, or maybe frozen is a better word, until our internal imagination sparks it to life.
That's a great way to put it. A potent image. And he emphasizes that so many of us just go through life sound asleep, totally unaware of this active role we're playing in co-creating our reality.
And that's when things feel out of control, when the nightmares happen, as he puts it, when we're not consciously directing that imagination.
That's exactly it. We feel like victims of circumstance at the mercy of external forces.
And the flip side is empowerment.
Totally. The truly empowering message is that we are actually free to shape our world how we want it, and it's a big
if we understand and consciously use this principle, this universal response to imagination.
Right. Which brings us to his take on repentance, which might surprise some people.
Yeah, he brings up those pretty stark biblical stories from Luke 13. The Galileans killed by Pilate, the people killed when the Tower of Siloam fell.
Right. And traditionally, you might look at those and think, okay, divine punishment for something bad they did.
That's the common interpretation.
But Goddard flips that completely. He says, look, those tragedies didn't happen because those specific people were somehow worse sinners than anyone else.
Okay, so what is the point then?
He interprets the call to repent, and this is absolutely crucial as needing a change of mind. He goes right back to the Greek root, metanoia.
Metanoia, change your mind.
Exactly. And he stresses this repentance has, quote, nothing to do with the moral picture. It's not about feeling guilty for past actions in the usual religious sense.
So it's not about looking back at what you did wrong.
Not primarily, no. It's about a fundamental shift in your present inner state, a conscious altering of your habitual thoughts, and most importantly here, your imaginative activity.
Okay, so instead of being stuck reacting to the past or things you don't like now.
Yes. You intentionally choose and build a scene in your imagination, a mental state that reflects what you want to experience. You change your mind, your inner world.
Right. You stop replaying the negative and start playing the positive.
Precisely. And he uses the analogy of the cross to explain this power to shift states.
The cross, how does that work?
He describes the horizontal bar as time. You know, our linear experience, past, present, future, sequence, duration.
Okay, the timeline.
And the vertical line. That, he says, is the realm of infinite possible states of being, all the potential realities you could experience. He even mentions Jacob's ladder ascending or descending through possibilities.
So infinite possibilities stacked vertically, intersecting with the timeline horizontally.
You got it. So at any single point in time right now, you're not actually fixed or stuck in your current situation.
Because you can move.
Vertically.
You can imaginatively jump to a completely different state of being along that vertical axis of potential.
How? The method, Goddard says, is to vividly enact the desired state in your imagination, just like the lady on Sunset. Even for a short burst, 30 seconds, 60 seconds.
But really feel it.
That's the crucial part. Feel yourself in that assumed state, embody it mentally, emotionally, because, he argues, there's this compulsion of the inner power.
The power of imagination itself.
Yes. That inner creative force, if you consistently hold that imagined state, feel as real, it will then unfold. It will manifest in your outer world as time moves along.
So the outer world has to respond.
It must respond, according to this law. It has to conform to the internal conviction you've established in imagination.
That completely flips the usual script, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Usually we think we have to struggle externally first to get something.
Right. It suggests the primary work is internal, establishing the desired reality within first. That's the foundation. He really hammers home the importance of living in the desired state, acting and feeling as if it's already true for you now.
Even if the outside doesn't show it yet.
Especially then. And he tackles that feeling we all have, that big changes take a long time, lots of effort.
Yeah, that's deeply ingrained.
Goddard just cuts through that. He says, no, a fundamental shift in state within imagination can be instant. The feeling, the assumption can change right now.
And the universe just responds.
He calls it infinite response. Once you truly get this, really grasp it, he suggests nothing externally can ultimately shake you, because it's all fundamentally a reflection of your inner imaginal world.
Which leads him to question what we even think of as a miracle.
Yeah, that's a great point. He asks, is healing someone physically a bigger miracle than the lady on Sunset getting that ride?
It makes you wonder.
He seems to imply the real miracle isn't the external event itself, but the awakening. Waking up to the creative power of your own imagination. That's the game changer.
So external achievements, without that awakening, are kind of hollow.
That's the sense you get. He suggests wealth, honors, all that stuff. They don't mean much if you're still asleep, if you're not aware of and using this inner creative ability. True fulfillment comes from waking up and consciously directing it.
And how does God's will fit into this? It doesn't sound like an external force telling you what to do.
Not at all. Goddard defines God's will as being active in your own imagination. The divine will is your capacity to imagine and realize states.
So fulfilling God's will is using your imagination consciously.
Pretty much. Realizing your consciously chosen imaginal states is doing God's will, in his view. So the call to action is really clear. Stop just reacting to life.
Start acting. Imaginatively.
Exactly. Start acting imaginatively to shape your reality. He even suggests the Bible comes alive in a totally new, personal way when you read it through this lens.
Okay, this also brings up his distinction between truth and fact. We usually think facts are truth.
Right. We give so much weight to empirical facts, what we can see and measure right now. But Goddard argues for a different, deeper kind of truth. He says truth, in this ultimate sense, is based on the intensity of my imagination and its power to create reality. It's not necessarily dependent on the current observable facts.
So the potential reality I intensely imagine is more true than the current unwanted fact.
In terms of creative power, yes. He uses the parable of the fig tree, the one not bearing fruit.
Right.
He interprets the tree as yourself. Bearing fruit is realizing your desires, and the keeper digging around it, fertilizing it. That's you, actively working on cultivating your imagination.
Nurturing the inner state.
Exactly. Because, as he puts it, in a way, everything is a dream anyway until you wake up and realize you're the dreamer, the one creating the dream.
Wow. Okay. And even death gets a different look. It's not just the end.
No, not an absolute end in his framework. It's more like a transition, moving from one state or maybe one level of the dream to another.
But you could still be asleep.
That's the implication. You could transition still caught in those old reactive patterns if you haven't woken up here, which really underlines why it's so important to awaken now.
To take control of the imagination in this life.
Yes, to consciously shape your experience now rather than being carried along unconsciously, even beyond physical life.
So wrapping this up, what's the main thing he wants people to take away, the final push?
He really urges everyone listening, and by extension us today, to take this stuff seriously. Don't just nod along intellectually.
Try it out.
Yes. Experiment. Actively apply it. He specifically says tonight, enact a scene in your imagination. A scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled.
Feel it real.
Feel it real. And he emphasizes the incredible power of just being faithful to that imagined state, believing in it, dwelling in it. He insists it will unfold, it will manifest, and no other power can stop it.
Because there is no other power.
Because, as he says, there is no other power than this creative imagination. And his final challenge to our conventional thinking: nothing is independent of your perception of it.
Wow. Okay. So putting it all together, this lecture, The Law, it really presents this, well, revolutionary framework. Your imagination isn't just daydreaming.
Not at all.
It's the actual engine, the creative force shaping your whole reality. It's about waking up to that power inside you.
A fundamental shift in understanding yourself and the world.
And for you listening, the invitation seems really clear. Start playing with this. Start experimenting, like the lady on Sunset did. Consciously choose a scene, enact it in your imagination. Feel it as if it's real right now. So the question is, what scene are you going to create in your mind tonight?
And maybe the deeper, more provocative thought to sit with is this. If your imagination genuinely is this fundamental creative power, just think about the possibilities that opens up for you.
Infinite possibilities, potential.
Potentially. And then ask yourself, what beliefs, what assumptions, maybe unconscious ones, might be holding you back right now from really stepping into and using that incredible power?
Yeah. What's stopping you from fully embracing it?
It's really an invitation, isn't it, to explore your inner world and see how it connects directly to the reality you walk through every single day.